Hey, this is Ace Spangler, and this is episode 1 of building the outskirts of St. Lo in Lego. But before we get into it, I just want to send out a big thank you to all you guys for subscribing. I saw that it reached over 1,000 subscribers, and it means a lot to me that the channel's growing and people are enjoying the content. So I'll keep up the good work and hope you guys continue to enjoy the videos. And with that, let's get right into it. Here we just I have all the base plates laid out for the next build, which will be the outskirts of St. Lo. And before, I was kind of thinking of having a smaller scale than Yttercastle, not as many base plates, but I kind of tinkered around with it, put some of the base plates on, took them off, tried different rectangles, squares, and I don't know, I found that what I wanted to recreate in Lego couldn't really be done at a smaller scale. So this is the same size as Yttercastle was, which is 4 large gray base plates by 3 large gray base plates. And I think with this large scale, I'll be able to really capture what I'm going for. Anything smaller, I don't know, would fall short of what I wanted to create. So that's the size limits. I kind of drew up some rough sketches of what I kind of wanted to do with this, so you could see the 3x4 here. And I'm thinking with the outskirts of St. Lo, it really represents, it's right after well, not right after, but following the beach landings on Normandy, when the troops, the Allies, were moving into France. They had to move through all the hedgerows in France, and St. Lo was a city that was close to Normandy, but before they got to St. Lo, they had to move through all the hedgerows. And so St. Lo was just I think it was a smaller town, not super big, but it was surrounded by hedgerows. So what I'm really trying to represent or show in Lego is what the Allies had to go through with those hedgerows, and how kind of tedious and how many casualties were caused by it, just because of how dense and such a big obstacle they were. So if you look here, I've got quite a bit of roads. So there's a lot of little intersections, and Germans could put a AT gun there, or MG gun, or machine gun, and then kind of halt the Americans or Allied advance if they were moving in here. If there was a German position here, they could halt the column. So these basically are just a bunch of roads, and then these will be fields. And I'm thinking maybe put a few farm buildings, because these would be, the hedgerows were kind of a ancient French way of separating fields from one another and having the roads. So we'll have the roads moving in. And when I say outskirts of the town, I will have a little bit of the town, and that will be here. So the roads will all be ultimately leading to the town, which will be here. So we'll have buildings kind of lining this way, put some on this side, and this will be the road going into town. The town would be more around here, and it would get bigger. But the thing with St. Lo is it was really bombed out. So I think I read a statistic that was, I'm guessing, I think it was around 80% of the town was destroyed. So the buildings are going to be really blown up. In the field, I'm going to have a bunch of artillery craters, and so we'll get the destruction represented as well. And we'll just have a bunch of hedgerows surrounding the road, and get some German MG nests, AT guns kind of emplaced in there, just so you can see what the Allies had to go through. So that was me just going on a rant about some history and what it will be. Now let's go ahead and get started with the build. Probably just start out with, in this segment, a bunch of structural building, and I'm thinking it was pretty difficult moving Yttercastle around to conventions and stuff, because I just had it separate into two really big pieces. So I'm thinking probably separate it into 6 different segments. So you'll probably see a bunch of Technic pieces to be able to separate the whole thing in a bunch of different areas, so it'll be easier to transport and pack up. So that's another thing that will happen. But with that, talking for a while, let's go ahead and get right into it. I'll try to get as many time lapses in this new series as possible. I know I only had about halfway through Yttercastle that I started on the time lapses, so I'll try to get right from the beginning some more time lapses in. So let's go ahead and get started. Guys, coming back after the first little bit of building. You saw a little bit in the time lapses. I kind of just wanted to give you part of the view on one side of what I was doing, and then I didn't want to bore you with doing it all over each particular square, so I just showed you this side and then went ahead and did the rest without the time lapses. So this is how it turned out. This is kind of just a basic structuring on the build, and just looking at it right now, it makes it look really big. So this is a lot of space to fill up. Hopefully I have enough pieces to do so. I'm guessing since I use so many pieces on Yttercastle that I should have enough for this, but we'll see in the end. I'll probably end up having to order quite a few bricks from Bricklink. So we'll see. I'm thinking next I'm going to kind of highlight how the roads go around, and then kind of make put the structure around that, and kind of just have the roads as my base of how I'm going to do this, and kind of go from there. So I'll go ahead and do that, try to get some time lapses in, and then we'll come back for another update. Guys, come back for the last update. As you saw in all those time lapses, there was a lot of work done, mainly just getting the roads all highlighted out, all structured, and yeah, that took a lot longer than I was expecting, mainly due to just it's such a large scale of a build. So you'll see I have all the roads mapped out like I had in the little drawing I made. So there it is. It's kind of starting to move in. We got 2 roads coming in, and then they go up, and then the start of the town will be over here. We'll have some fields in the in-between areas, and that will be it. And surrounding the roads, I'll have the hedgerows in kind of a somewhat of a prototype that, as you can see next to the Sherman, that's kind of, I've been prototyping some stuff that I might use, and I've come across like a net technique that I really like. It gives a really good, more realistic lay of the land. So I've tried it out for the hedgerows. I don't know if it'll be what I use for the hedgerows, but I'll definitely use the net technique for landscaping, because I made another one, and it's really flexible. It gives lots of good realistic land details. So most likely I'll use these in the fields. You could just have a bunch of them lined up and kind of have them do all kinds of different shapes or different textures, I guess. Just have the parts underneath, push it up in certain ways, and then it kind of just bends and contorts to however you put the structure underneath. So that will add some nice realistic landscaping. But with that, that'll be it for this segment. I didn't get as much as I wanted to get done, but we still got a decent amount of structural progress done. So next week is Thanksgiving week, so I don't know how much we'll get done. I'll either skip the segment for next week and combine it into the following week after that, just to have a bigger segment, because I don't know how much I'll get done over Thanksgiving week. I've got relatives coming over, so it's going to get pretty busy. So we'll see what happens with that, but here's the progress so far on the outskirts of St. Lo. If you guys like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.